Hey guys, welcome to the clubhouse. I'm Billy Jackson, and today's review is going to be on The Last of Us Season 1. Okay, now, full disclosure, I have not played any of The Last of Us games. Now, that being said, I've known about this game for a long time, ever since it's been out. And the only reason I really know about the game is because it has been said to have the best story ever told in a game. And that piqued my interest. So when they came out with this series, I was really interested into how they were going to tell this incredible story. But I was very trepidatious about it because, I'm not really big into the whole zombie thing. So, what did I think overall? I loved it! Man, this is some of the best writing that I've seen in a game, even though I haven't played the game. I've watched all the special features after each episode, and they have adapted this show from that game so precisely that it literally has blown my mind. I mean, other shows and games have done this before, and not all of them are bad. I thought Halo did a great job. The reason why I loved this season of this show so much, it's not because of the zombie thing. I mean, really, they're not zombies. They're more like mushroom monsters. That's what I like to call them. Because, they're infected by this fungal virus that kind of makes them mushroom people. So I just call them mushroom monsters or the infected, whatever. But other than that, there aren't that many of the infected in this show. And I thought there was going to be. I thought it was going to be kind of like The Walking Dead, which I thought was incredible for the first 5 seasons. Then it just fell off for me. Just came monotonous after a while. But this show, there's only, the mushroom monsters are only in a couple of episodes and not for a very long time. But when they are in the show, it's spectacular and frightening. And I really loved it. Even though I'm really not into that kind of thing, I found myself being into it. But this show isn't about that. It's about the infected, of course, but it's really about characters, story. That's the stuff I love, people. You can have the worst premise of all time, but if it's well told and you have the best character development that I've seen from a game adaptation ever. I mean, almost better than any show ever. I mean, clearly not as good as some things. And I haven't seen every show in the world, but everything I've seen, this show has the best character development right under Game of Thrones, I'd say. Even though Game of Thrones is my favorite show of all time, so I'm kind of a little biased to that. But Game of Thrones does have the best character development, hands down, in my opinion. But this show is on the same level. It gave us characters that you love from the moment you meet them until their demise. I need to tell you, this review will be full of spoilers, okay? So be prepared for that. If you haven't seen the show, then you might want to watch it and then come back for my review, because I'm going to go over some spoilers right now that I think are necessary to talk about, because this show has really blown my mind as far as character development. I mean, every character in this show is relevant, and they're only relevant for their particular episode because they get killed off that episode, and I feel for them. I've only known them for 30 minutes. And I freaking care about their deaths. If you can do that in a story, then the writing is spectacular. I'll give you a perfect example. The brothers, the older brother and the younger brother who are trying to survive, and, they're on their own and they meet up with Joel and Ellie. And I thought that they were going to be like part of their team. Like they were going to go through this together. But no, They killed him off that episode, and in a horrific way. And I know people that played the games know these characters and knew what was going to happen to them. I did not. I did not see it coming. And it literally, and this might be poor phrasing, blew my mind. I mean, because what happens with them, I felt for those characters. In the first 15 minutes they were introduced because the writing was so solid for them. And I was just very impressed. And when they died off, I was just like, man, this is like Game of Thrones. I love a character, then they kill them off. Not that I like that, but I love it when they do it. Even though I don't want them to do it, I still loved it because it's expert writing. If you could develop a whole character and make me feel for them within 20 minutes, you're doing something right, people. And this show did it right. Now, I'm going to talk about the finale. I know it's controversial. This is another one of the reasons why I knew about the game before the show came out, because of this point specifically. And that was the ending of how Joel sacrifices the whole entire human race for his own selfish needs to have this girl back in his life and not to let her die, because he loves her like a daughter now. And in the beginning, he did not care. I mean, you find out in the finale, he tried to kill himself and missed, and it kind of woke him up. But he didn't care back then. He didn't care about people. Once he lost his daughter, I think he was just emotionally just devoid of anything, feeling anything for anybody. He just didn't care. And then he comes across Ellie, and they have to traverse this, dangerous battlefield of, mushroom monsters and, the fireflies, and just trying to stay alive, just the two of them. And they do. And he finds out that they're going to kill her because they have to take something from her brain. She won't survive the process, but yet it could cure the whole entire human race. He doesn't care about the human race. He cares about that little girl. And yes, he sacrificed everybody to selfishly have what he wanted. I don't know what I would do in that situation. I mean, seriously, if I lost a daughter and then came across this girl and she, connected to me, and I fell in love with her as a daughter, and then they say they're going to kill her, even though it would save the human race, I don't know what I would do. Honestly, I think I would react like he did. And that might be bad to say. It might be bad to say. I'm not sure. I'm struggling with it. But that's why I love this show, and that's what makes this show great. And I think it's a must-watch for everyone, really. And I know a lot of people complain about it being slow-paced. Man, forget that. You don't need bang, bang, bang all the time. We got lots of that. We have that all over the place. What we need are good stories and great characters, and we need to feel something again when we're watching something. I'm tired of all these shows that, after watching an episode, I kind of forget about it. But this show, after every episode, the next day, I was thinking about it. Like, gosh, what would I have done if that was me? So that's what made this show great. That's why I loved it. And another reason why I loved it is the attention to detail from game to show. It is the best adaptation from game to show ever created. And you'll find that out if you'll watch the special features. You'll see how almost every shot in the show is exactly extracted from the game and put to film. And for them to do it the way they did was incredible. And in case you didn't know, the pregnant woman who gave birth to Ellie in the beginning of the finale, that was the same actress that played Ellie in the game when it first came out. Had all the motion capture on, did the voice for her and everything. It's brilliant. It's brilliant that they did that. I mean, they didn't have to. They could have got any actress, but they got her because she meant something to the show and to the fans. And I know the fans were just going crazy. I'm not even a fan of the game. I'm a fan of the show. And I was going crazy once I found that out. I didn't know that, of course, until the end. But still, once I reflect back on it, I'm like, man, that was smart. Gosh, thank you. So thank you, whoever created Last of Us, for the writing, the directing. Superb. It gets a chef's kiss. And this was awesome. I'm beaming, so I'm going to be quiet now and let you guys comment on what you would do in this situation. You know, because it's not all about what I think, it's about what you think. Have you seen The Last of Us? Of course, hopefully you have if you've seen this, because I just spoiled everything for you. But I want to know, what decision would you have made at the end of the finale? Would you have sacrificed the human race to save a loved one that you fell in love with and see as a daughter? Or would you have let her, be killed to save the human race? Let me know in the comments below. Remember to like my videos and subscribe to my channel. And as always, make yourself happy every day. And the only way to do that is to remember the only thing stopping you is you stopping. Bam!